Join our annual Arts and Wellness Festival to connect, create, and celebrate with the Soultry Sisters.
In 2023, we explored what it means to cultivate your sanctuary.
Our 3-day festival highlights BIPOC, women, and queer artists and wellness practitioners based in San Diego.
Each year, we collaborate with featured guest artists to build our festival program, which includes creative expression classes, wellness workshops, and performances.
Day 1 of the festival is all about connection. We begin our festival with a social mixer where attendees enjoy music, dancing, and have an opportunity to meet other attendees, guest artists, and us.
Day 2 of the festival is all about creating. Our arts and wellness workshops give folks an opportunity to explore, embrace, and embody what cultivating your sanctuary means to them.
Day 3 of the festival is all about celebration. There is music, dancing, performances, and an open mic for attendees to share. Without a doubt, we always close with a dance party and teach folks the Soultry strut.
We are grateful for all the memories made each year at our Summer Soulstice Arts and Wellness Festival, and we can't wait to see you next year.
In the meantime, remember to keep living vibrant and shining bright.
Hello. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome to our Soultry Hangout. We're so happy to be continuing our series where we are meeting with San Diego-based artists and wellness practitioners to count down to the Summer Soulstice Festival. So without further ado, we want to start our welcome with checking in, saying where we're tuning in from and what we're sipping on. So I am tuning in from San Diego, and I am sipping on this drink called Swoon, and it's like a pink lemonade. So I'm trying something new. I'm dealing with some stomach issues, and I was really craving something carbonated. So we'll see if this works.
Yum. And so hello, everyone. I'm tuning in from the DC area. It was sunny this morning when I walked my 3.33 miles. But now it's cloudy and it rained earlier. So you got to get it in when you can fit it in. But I'm drinking some H2O, and then I have this tea blend that I made. So it's a little bit of tulsi, some fresh strawberry tops. If y'all been watching for a while, you know, like 2 years ago, we had a live that I shared like a similar drink to this. But when you're eating strawberries, you can, like when you're cutting it and that part they usually throw out that has a little bit of the fruit and the leaf, I saved that, put it in my tea. And then today I also put hibiscus flower essence, some rose hip oil or extract that helps with soreness because your girl's been doing some physical activities. And then I had some ginger salabat, so like Filipino, a lot of cultures have it, but like a powdered ginger with sugar. So yeah, that's what's in my cup today.
I feel like I need your tea today.
Yes.
That sounds like the herbal concoction that I need instead of this swoon. But you know what? We're here.
Yes. So comment below where you're tuning in from and what you are sipping on.
Yes, so we are talking about our Summer Solstice Arts and Wellness Festival, and we are about 3 weeks away, and we are so excited. This week, yes, 3 weeks, Tony. Yes. I hope that is a screech of joy instead of a screech of panic.
Screech of all emotions. It's like, wow, so much is happening.
Wow. Well, that kind of just that kind of makes sense why I'm having these stomach gastrointestinal issues. So I might be fine here, but my stomach says otherwise. Anyways, as you know, as Soultry Sisters, we keep things pretty real here. So as we are getting excited for the Summer Solstice Festival, we wanted to share our excitement that we have finally announced our lineup of amazing guest artists. And that's really exciting. So make sure to check out our website and Instagram to learn about some of these artists. We have released information about the day 1 guest artist and day 2. And tomorrow we'll be announcing day 3. So get ready. And Tony's going to take us into why. Why summer solstice? Why do we like to celebrate this season through arts and wellness experiences?
Yeah. So first off, I want to shout out. We have a viewer from Instagram. We have Cynthia tuning in from Chicago and sipping on some tea green. So yes, we love green tea. So thank you for joining. So yes, if you're tuning in from Instagram, you can comment, and then I'm monitoring them, and I will verbalize them on YouTube. But on YouTube and Facebook Live, if you comment, then we could just pop them right on the screen.
Mhm.
So whatever works. But yes, so why the summer solstice? So we at Soultry have been publicly celebrating it since 2022. So we're going on to our third year of the festival. Oh, I have new nails also, by the way, y'all. I forgot. There's so much going on in the world.
Okay, Neon.
Yes, it's like kind of the Soultry festival colors with stars. Anyways, but the solstice is one June. If you follow astrology or Mama Nature seasonal changes, June is when the start of a new season, right? Summer. So literally June 21st is the summer solstice, and we are having our festival that weekend. So it's going to be very special, very heightened energy, a perfect time to manifest. Um, and so, yeah, with us, we've always celebrated different types of astrology and seasonal changes with our community. And we thought, why not have a whole festival, 3 day long event to bring together our community to again channel this energy to revisit our intentions. Like a lot of folks, mainstream do it in January, which is true. I've created my vision board in January as well. But June is a great time to revisit those intentions that we created for ourselves. And through the festival weekend, all of our activities, whether that's live performances, the art installation, the food, the workshops, all of it combined is our like creating our intentions through action and embodying that. So it's just really fun time. And a lot of folks are able to experience new offerings from the artists that we collaborate with, whether that's sound bath, again, like food or a live performance. So there's so much for everyone. We can't say it all here because we've said it all in different ways, but go to our website, sultrysisters.com/SS Festival. You'll learn more about what the festival entails. And then also you can click to learn more about each guest
Mhm.
artist, their bio, and what offering they'll be having during the weekend.
Yes. And one thing that we specifically are excited about is that we get to take workshops and receive from these artists amazing offerings. We're normally facilitating a lot of our workshops throughout the year. So this is the one time in the year we get to have folks in our that we are in community with lead beautiful, wonderful workshops, and we get to practice that reciprocity, that act of giving and receiving at the same time. So the summer solstice is where guest artists not only lead offerings, but they also are able to receive. And this year, our theme is reclaiming ancestral healing. Last year, our theme was cultivating sanctuary, and through that, we realized a lot of cultivating our sanctuary comes from our like is informed of our culture. So we shared our personal altar with our community, and we talked about the things that we do to feel safe in our bodies with others and with community. And then we were thinking like, we want to dig deeper into the subject of reclaiming ancestral healing, because as Sultry Sisters, as we're starting to bridge arts and wellness together more, I would say uh, a subject that for a long time people were separating. We want to like remind people that art and wellness has been practiced in intersectionally throughout like a lot of different cultures, and we wanted to allow our community to reflect on that. Like, where did you learn and how did you practice communal art and wellness? And that's why we are centering this theme of reclaiming ancestral healing.
Yes, we're really excited about our theme this year, and we're inviting all of our guest artists to just unapologetically be able to share their ancestral backgrounds, practices from their ancestry, or just things that have been a part of their journey that have that they want to share and illuminate with our community. So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful 3-day journey. Again, a lot of times we as Soultry Sisters share like things that have resonated with us in our journey or practices that we do from our cultures. But we were like, why not open that up to all
Mhm.
of the artists to unapologetically, celebrate all of our backgrounds. So we're
Okay.
really excited.
I remember. Sorry, I had to do this. I had I had to
What
do
is
this
happening?
because I wanted to say what I was trying to get to is that a lot of arts and wellness practices get co-opted and resold to us, a lot of cultural ones. And so that's also the unapologetic like nature of what Tony's saying. Like reclaiming ancestral healing is also remembering that a lot of wellness practices that people are, especially here in Southern California, are centering come from a specific culture, come from a certain background. And so we wanted to use this festival to ground in that and welcome folks to really appreciate and call in folks to reflect on where these different practices come and honor that and honor their lineage. So it's really the reclaiming is to kind of decenter the capitalist nature of that arts and
Mhm.
wellness industry can have. And so we're hoping with the help of these guest artists to be a conduit and reclaiming that nature in this festival.
Yes. And so we thought, why not have, a specific conversation as well with each of our, well, we don't have time to get to each of the artists to join us live. But since the start of May, we've had an assortment of guest artists come on to share more. Because again, during the weekend, they will also be able to share, but we wanted to have more in depth conversations, just hang out with folks. Again, if you've been in our community for a while, we've been doing these hangouts since 2020. And so, yeah, it's just a way for us to connect with our community and the folks who aren't based in California, who don't get to come to the festival, to be able to also partake. And so, today, we wanted to really focus on community care and liberation and what does that mean for us and the work that we do with the guest artists that we have today. And then also, what does this mean in regards to like reclaiming ancestral healing? And I thought it was very, very timely this week, of course, everything happening in the world and in Palestine. And we wanted to also create space to be able to explicitly talk about community care, like how are we showing up for ourselves, for each other, when of course there's multiple things happening across the world. And we do have these amazing guest artists to share space with us today.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Yay.
So we have our two guests with us, and we wanted to give you space in the start of this just Sultry Hangout to introduce yourselves and share where you're tuning in from, and if you are sipping on something, what you are sipping on.
Take it away, Alyssa.
Okay, awesome. Um, Hi, everyone. My name's Alyssa. And I forget what I was supposed to say other than my drink.
Where are you tuning in from?
Oh, duh. I'm tuning in from Normal Heights in San Diego, on Kumeyaay Land, and I am drinking water. I had a little bit of green tea, but you know when green tea gets, like, you brew it hot and then it gets cold and then there's like that weird filmy layer
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
I was just doing research about that because it was making me feel weird. Um, but yeah, water right now. A huge jug of water is the vibe.
We love that.
Hi, all. I'm Rose, she, her, also on Kumeyaay Land here in Oceanside. I'm actually at Community Roots Farm right now, and I'm also staying very hydrated with my water.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Welcome and welcome to our Sultry Hangout. So it's very cozy because we all get to be in our own spaces, but also communing together.
I apologize if you hear very loud roosters in the background.
No, we
No
love it. We
sweat. It's a
welcome
part
the
of the
we welcome the
ambiance.
noises. We welcome all of
Yeah,
it.
they're here too.
Yes, they're hanging out with us.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. But we did want to give y'all some space to introduce yourselves to the community because some folks might not be aware of you all or the work that you do. So we can have, I guess, Alyssa Rose go first.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, where do I where do I begin?
You,
It's such a large thing. I could just talk. Okay, I'm gonna focus. It's gonna be great. Yeah, my name's Alyssa Rose. I use they them pronouns. Um, I'm an artist, and I'm recently very focused on cultivating healthy ecosystems in the arts, but specifically in dance and movement art. I am a program coordinator at an organization, a nonprofit organization called Disco Riot, who uplifts marginalized folks and produces a lot of dance. And we pay artists to make art, which is like my favorite part of it.
yes.
Yeah, that's really special and important. And yeah, I just do a lot of the like organizing of all of the communications, and I do all the graphic design for Disco Riot. And yeah, that sounds like nothing, but it somehow takes
It's
up a
all
lot
the
of my time.
things. No, we love it. We love that
Yes.
you're a movement artist, organizer, and visual artist. I also want to plug that I'm wearing some of Alyssa's wearable art,
Yes.
y'all. Do you see this? Get a look at this. Every time
Love
I
it.
wear it, I get compliments and I share your handle with folks. So I hope, that people can know that they can also have some of this wearable art. It just brings me so much joy. And it kind of reminds me of the idea you have for the art installation for this
Mhm.
year's festival. But
Which
yeah.
like I could talk about maybe.
Yeah, definitely. So, so Alyssa's our featured guest artist that's going to make a art installation for our festival. Every year, we partner with a local artist to create a visual representation that embodies the theme. And Alyssa Rose is that artist this year.
Yay, yeah. So I was really excited to hear from y'all that you wanted to collaborate. It's been a while since I've done any like visual. I just got done. I say just got done, and this was like 4 months ago. But I just got done with
Time.
a huge project. I was in process for an evening length dance um, for about a year and a half, and premiered it in January. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm just going to support artists for right now because
Yeah.
it's a lot to undertake such a big project. And
Mhm.
so I've been kind of doing like a little bit of visual stuff here and there, but not really having that much like time and capacity, and not super interested in it. And like if I'm not interested in something, I don't know how to do it because that is how my brain works. And yeah, I can't, I'll just walk away without realizing I'm walking away.
Mhm.
This happens to me during movies too. Like I try to, it's like sitting, trying to watch a movie, and I'm like somewhere in another room, and whoever I'm watching a movie with is like, where are you going? And I don't know where I'm going. My brain gets bored. Anyways, so I'm really excited that there's actually like a prompt and a thing for me to work around and work with this year, like very clear guidelines about a backdrop for the festival. I've seen the backdrops for the festivals before. I went to a mini festival in
Oh, yes.
Oceanside.
At the
At the library.
library.
Yeah.
The library, and I still have the tote bag from that day. And I ended up giving the book to my mother, who loves it.
Oh, nice.
Atlas with
Atlas
a
of the
heart.
Heart. And yeah, where was I going with all this? Oh, I have been working a lot in my visual work, and I would say this for my dance work too, but mostly my visual work about kind of translating all of the patterns and the just like yeah, the patterns and textures that exist in the natural world. I'm really interested in kind of all of those things that are repeated and miraculously alive. And so a lot of my work right now has very like roots. There's like lots of roots going on. And so my idea and my proposal for the backdrop is it's kind of like the roots of a tree underneath the tree. And it's like these bright colors, these like warm tones that Soultry Sisters are all about.
Yes.
I mean, even it's happening right here. Like, I love how you like put a little bit of design inside of this streaming service.
Oh,
It's
thanks.
just pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's all pink and yellow. So
yes,
yeah,
we're
really
all
good.
about the aesthetic.
Yes.
Even I got my nails for the festival.
Yeah.
it's important. It's really
Yeah.
important. Anyways, so
Yes.
yeah, I'm really excited to play a little bit with that, and I have more to say, but
Yeah.
I'll take a break for right now.
Yes. There's a season for everything, Alyssa, and we're so grateful, and we receive so much gratitude that we're able to be a part of a season of you creating something for this festival. So yes, thank you. And then Rose, we want to bring it to you to talk a little bit about your work, your background, and what you're excited to offer at the festival this year.
Yes. I guess I'll just kind of like go over what you have in my bio again. But I started out in the kitchen from a young age. I was always enthralled with cooking, and I've been fortunate enough to have a really close relationship with where my food has come from for a long time. In the summers, I would visit my dad's side of the family in South Berwick, Maine, where we have a farm that's been in our family for at least 5 generations. South Berwick, Maine is also the traditional territory of the Wabanaki, Abenaki, and Pennacook tribes. And so I've kind of had that privilege of having a close relationship to farms and knowing how food is grown from a young age. So I kind of just followed that from being super young. And went to San Francisco for culinary school, moved to New York for a job opportunity, and cooked there. I thought I was going to be there for a couple of years, and then was there for 10. And I think over the pandemic, things started to shift for me. I had been working in restaurants for quite a while at that point, and was kind of searching for a different purpose. I felt like I was serving a pretty niche clientele, and I just wanted to reach more people with nourishing people. And I also found that a lot of restaurant work is can be a little bit removed from the very basic thing of like nourishing our communities, and it can be isolating when people don't have access to that, have access to being able to go out to eat 5 nights a week. And so I started like asking myself these questions about what I was doing and if I felt fulfilled. And I ended up going down a compost hole and started getting really interested in both food rescue and food scrap recycling, but looking into the policy and municipal level composting, and then that led me to community composting. I took some online courses for how to make really good compost, and I think I was initially coming into this work as like, I want to help the climate crisis and I want to do something to reverse, greenhouse gas emissions. And I thought that I was doing this to help the earth, but I think the more time I spend in this work, the more I realized that it was actually just a way for me to heal myself. So it's funny how that works. So I've been in the compost world and doing compost education, soil health education. And as I've dived even deeper into this work, I started making this correlation between how we view our waste and how we view a lot of different aspects of our human experience. A lot of the things that we may feel less comfortable to talk about, our shame, our guilt, embarrassment, these things we're told to just like put away somewhere and it'll resolve itself somewhere else, but it ends up becoming a bigger problem the more we don't look at them. So I've been really trying to thread the needle between compost and healing truly in our communities, and I've seen it happen, like seeing people come to the piles, work with us and make soil, and really see that this process, when we look at both death and not just life, it's inherently hopeful. And so it's been a real journey, and I'm really thankful to be in this work and in this beautiful room with you, and a part of this amazing celebration, celebrating the solstice. And so ancestral healing. My family is both English and Mexican, and the dishes that I'd like to make, I grew up eating tamales, making tamales, but it wasn't until recently that I was at a class, or it was a maize festival at UC San Diego that was celebrating dishes from Michoacan, which is actually where my ancestors come from. So I felt like this was a sign I needed to.
Oh wait, are they frozen?
Okay.
Okay, Rose is
You're
back.
back.
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of a dried corn husk, it's a fresh corn leaf that's wrapped in a triangular shape. And they'll usually serve it in a soup or like a stew called choripo, but I'm just gonna serve it with a salsa with some guajillos that we grew and dried here at the farm last year. And so that feels really special to me to be offering that. And then also like a little tostada with it's called pipián, it's like a spread. So it's made with pepita, pumpkin seeds and chilies, and so those will be two little nice bites that feel. Did I lose you again?
No, you're still here. You're still here.
That feels special to me because I feel like a lot of traditional practices and cultural practices that come from where my Mexican side airs from have been removed. I know that my great grandmother and grandmother assimilated pretty heavily because they saw the benefits that came with having lighter skin, and so I feel empowered to be reclaiming that, and it's really beautiful to be asked to be a part of this.
Wow.
I love that. Thank you
I'm
for
like,
sharing.
my brain, like my head is like tingling from the knowledge you just shared about like where like the history of these dishes, and I'm so excited to be able to taste and celebrate the lineage of the Michoacan.
Michoacan, yeah.
Michoacan, yeah.
Oh.
That's beautiful and amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and I wanted to add, Rose, so your kind of introduction of like into compost and how that kind of opened up kind of your realm of stuff. That's kind of how I got into land stewardship
Mhm.
too, as I studied abroad in Bali, which I feel like I don't talk about a lot, but I was there for like a summer. I happened to get placed or matched with a nonprofit that was helping folks with physical disabilities get access to an organic garden. So I work with the folks there to create like a raised garden bed, and yes, a lot of physical labor. But we did compost stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, like you can do all of this stuff. And I haven't really been back into the composting things since, but I do have a relationship with plants and Mama Earth through herbalism and many other things. But I thought that was a nice connection of like, oh, that's kind of how I got into it too.
I also wanted to raise this because what's coming up for me. It's like it's amazing the things that we will teach ourselves to do when we are serving others. Like Alyssa, you talked about wearing all these hats and organizing for Disco Riot. Rose, you shared, going from culinary arts to compost enthusiast to now working at Community Roots Farm, and Tony talking about your travels to Bali. So this seems to be like, I mean, ironic, not really ironically, but synergetically, like talking about community care and in the ways we show up. How beautiful that we find ourselves learning different creative ways to show up for our community. So I kind of wanted to name that, because I'm hearing like how as artists, culinary artists, visual artists, movement artists, healing artists, how we the center of community care is creativity, right?
Mm-hmm.
That being creative and finding different ways to show up. So I just wanted to share that and see if that kind of sparked anyone for additional response. But that's what I'm getting, and it's really warming my heart to be affirmed by it. We all might do different things, but we're all caring for our community.
Mm-hmm. And like what Alyssa Rose mentioned earlier was like ecosystems, and what I think of, and recently I have used this verbiage, but like creating ecosystems of care. And I think that's what like community care, and that's like a part of this whole movement for collective liberation is like the ecosystem, right? Like we can't do this and we can't sustain ourselves isolated one by one, but when we're together, that magic happens of the healing and the right relationship with one another. But yeah, I guess I'll open it up to both of you if you want to share more about, yeah, like what community care means to you. And then, yeah, for you, how does that connect to your work or to collective liberation?
Yeah,
Either one, whoever wants to go
I can
first.
speak on that a bit. I just want to give an example of like what creativity can do for us. On Monday, it was Memorial Day, and in dance land, that means that everyone gets to show up to class.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like essentially, that's like some holidays like that are like busier days.
Yes.
So I was like not thinking about the fact that things were going to be closed and things like that. I had a like 10-hour shoot day on Monday for a dance film as a part of a campaign called Move American, which is kind of just getting people civically engaged and inspiring them through dance film. And it's one of our last ones, and I had some props, some bottles. We were filming in a bar, kind of talking about the film. Can I say this? Yeah, I can. The film is kind of tackling this like community mental health situation, and it follows this young woman that essentially is an alcoholic and is like in the bar, and there's like dancing, there's like full dancing in the bar. It's great. Anyways, so I was on my way and I went to our storage unit to get the bottles, and the storage unit was closed, like fully closed. And there were like quite a bit of props in there that I bought for this shoot. And so I was just like, what am I going to do? And it's those moments, right? Those moments where like, okay, so we can pivot about like, sorry, I just got I think a sad text message. So I'm just going to not worry about, but like try to get the thing done. Like, how can we get the thing done? How can we, instead of, and we as me by myself, instead of being like having some big emotional reaction, like I was like, okay, I cannot get in there. What am I going to do? And so we ended up like, using bottles that were in the like spirits that were in the bar, and it was like a little bit sketchier because they were glass, and I did not want to do any dancing with glass. But we like filled them up with water. We did like this whole creative task and like made sure that the labels weren't showing, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it and we made it work. And one of my friends was like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" Because they were asking me, "Hey, how is your day going?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Everything's going wrong." And they were asking me, and I was like, "Well, I was like, we figured it out with a creative solution, and this is what my job is." And like I had this realization that like more than half of my job is actually finding creative solutions, because we are underresourced. resourced all the time. I mean, I'm working with people who like, and myself included, who like don't make a lot of money. We don't make a lot of money. I don't know if anyone really does right now, but like we're getting by through showing up for ourselves and for each other, and also just having to get creative. Like you just have to get, and when you said this bit about like communal care, or you know, how ecosystems of care,
Yes.
I had a big smirk on my face, because that's like basically was the thesis of the dance work that I was working on, is like, how the hell do we care for each other? Not care about, but care for each other. And how do we do that in a rehearsal process? Because a lot of rehearsal processes are, do I say this in a nice way? I'm just going to say, like, a lot of rehearsal spaces are abusive and harsh and competitive, and just don't feel good. They're not nourishing. But like dance is this really, talk about ancestral healing. Like dance has always been in every single culture, always. Like, there are what's it called? Hieroglyphs of dancers before there are hieroglyphs of language. So it's like, we don't, like, that's the oldest thing we know of is dance, really.
Yeah, definitely. That reminds me, Alyssa. So I was commissioned to put together a flash mob dance in downtown Carlsbad, and it was a private client for someone's birthday. But I chose a public area because it might be a private client who hired me, but that doesn't mean, when you say flash mob, that means there could be a public audience. So so they wanted it at this restaurant like off of State Street called, it doesn't even matter what the restaurant's called, because I can't remember and it'll come to me. But they wanted it to be like on the sidewalk in front of this restaurant for the private client. And I was like, well, there's this train station down the street, a public train station. Let's have it there, because also it's easier to rehearse with dancers in a public space versus a private sidewalk. I don't know, So anyways, my point is that when we were rehearsing for this flash mob dance, a bunch of people would come up and like during rehearsal, like saying, thank you so much for dancing. Like, is this a performance? We're like, oh no, we're actually just rehearsing. But we would welcome them. Like, would you like to just sit and watch? And we ended up meeting a lot of cool people that were taking the train. Some are commuters, some just walking by. We were rehearsing there for a couple of weeks, and we kept seeing the same people. So we built this community. And there's just one artist who, she was just at the train, and she was doing a quick sketch in watercolor, and she ended up quick sketching us and watercoloring us. And I literally started crying, and she was like, this is the best day ever. Like, I just love being able to, like, what I'm trying to say is like the community care of dance, like whether you are actually dancing in it or you're witnessing it, you're passing by. I just didn't realize how special dance being in a public space versus a theater or a club is so healing. And it was just really cool through that process of having an open rehearsal, having the open performance for this birthday for this birthday surprise. It just gave me more than I thought. I did it because obviously I was commissioned, but the gift that this commission brought was greater than the person's surprise birthday. Splash mob. It ended up being more seeds because it was so public and visible, and people were able to engage.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And the witness of dance is kind of what you're getting at too, is like the witness also has the opportunity to see themselves mirrored back, or to feel embodied, that actually we have mirror neurons, that when we watch people move, there's a sense of movement that's happening in our bodies,
Yes.
whether we're like fully doing it or not. Like there's still that like a little bit of that satisfaction of those movements and that like thing that happens. It can be really special too. So I think you're speaking to like the power of movement, not just for the mover, but for the witness as well.
And people ended up wanting, because there's a part at the end where we do a dance. We do a line dance to the song Love Train by the OJs. And I said, this is a line dance. If you want to learn it and you want to come back, you can do it. And even though there were like only 4 dancers that I hired to do it, we ended up having the people who came to the open rehearsals, they came back on the day of the surprise and they did the line dance. And it was like, I was like, if you want to, you can learn it. And the fact that they came back to surprise a stranger for a birthday was pretty cool. I was like, wow, I did not realize I was going to get that, like, that lesson, or the, like you said, the witnessing people wanting to celebrate someone's birthday, their 70th birthday. And even there was even like a kind woman who even brought a sunflower for her. So I just thought it was just really cool to like how people are so giving when you allow them to give. And you're not like, oh no, sorry, don't do. Like, if people had an abundance, why not give them a flower? Why not partake in the dance? So speaking of like giving and people coming to give out of abundance, Rose, I wanted to ask you, what is it like to work at Community Roots Farm, and what does that community care look like in action?
Well, first of all, we need more green spaces, so let's just put that out there.
Okay.
You know, it's like access to land is just so hoarded, and we need this to be written into the policy. We need to be written into the city budget for these spaces to exist. It's not easy to keep these kinds of spaces going. You know, it's like the city wants to step in and acknowledge what we're doing, but they're gonna like put their money there. So it's a lot of like wanting more support, but that's a tangent. But
that's important.
That's important. You never know who's gonna hear this. So that's important.
Also, shout out to you too for like creating this, Soultry Sisters, for putting this event on, for having it be your 3rd year, and just being so active in doing this work. Alyssa, like you were saying, it's like you jump in and you do it, and you get super resourceful and you figure it out, but you know, you're not making a bunch of money doing this. So I see you and all of your efforts that you're putting in to show up for your community, because like when we talk about liberation, this is what we're talking about. It's this is how we get there, is by actually showing up, not just like being behind a screen and saying that you're doing it. It's like, no, you're getting out here and you're like putting your time in. So I appreciate all of you. Okay, but being at the farm, you know, people, they have a variety of things that they can do if they want to be more physical. There's plenty of physically demanding things that they can get done, you know. If they want to be more stationary, they can do something like sorting seeds. It really depends on what the person is looking for when they come here. You want to water the plants and, you know, give some water life to the babies, then you do that. But I do see that people come here because we're a safe space. We are all inclusive. Everybody is welcome here. Even if you're not coming to volunteer your time to work, we want people to be here to just enjoy the space that we're working so hard to keep alive. And it's true when you see that it makes a difference for people to have that connection back to land, even if it's in a small garden and they just like,
oh my gosh,
they pick a couple weeds, or they pick a flower, or they pull a beet out of the ground. You know, it's like that connection is so missed in our capitalistic society right now. Like
powerful.
We like push a button on a phone and it shows up at the door, and it's like there's no or we put our trash in the garbage and it goes away to a landfill. Like there's no connection to these cycles that are a part of our actual existence. Like we need food to survive and we need the earth to make the food. So it's like, how are we so disconnected to keeping her safe and protected? So like having people come here, it's reconnecting them, even if it's just for an hour, even if it's just for 5 minutes, like they have a little bit of like a light that they see, like, oh, I'm a part of this system, you know, this universe.
That's so special and important too, to realize that you're part of something. And like you were talking about doing liberation work like online behind a screen or something, and like while there are some access points in that like are helpful in that way, for the most part we have to do it together. We cannot do anything alone, and like liberation does not happen for one being without another. Like it's every single bacteria, every single ant, every single human, every single animal and plant, and like how we are in togetherness. I just want to say I just started my first garden in my backyard.
Oh yay!
The things that it's doing for my mental health is wild. And when I hear you talking about like even just 5 minutes, like literally even just sitting out there and watering makes me feel like I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it's like how we're supposed to be in relationship with land. It's so nurturing.
Well, we are land, right? So when you're watering the garden, you're watering your soul or something. Like you are tending to yourself.
No.
Yes, I saw something on Instagram recently, but it was saying like instead of us thinking that we're caring for the earth, it's actually Earth Mama caring for us, right? Like we are
holding
all
us
in relationship. We come from the earth. We go back to the earth when we die as well, which goes into Rose, like your work with compost too. And I think that's so powerful too, like really giving space for people to not only think about, but to actually be a part of like a death process that also brings life. Because another post I posted months ago, but came back and reposted it yesterday, but it was like how grieving is also part of communal care and collective care, and how, again, like with all the work that all of us do, it's whether that's movement or cooking or land stewardship, it's really how do we, cultivate space for us to just feel through those things too.
Yeah, well, when you think about like the grieving process or a death, in most cultures, there's food, there's dance, there's some sort of creative, artistic outlet to like move that energy too. So, but I think like in our Western world, we're just so taught to like, this is the end, that you don't celebrate it, you don't process it, you don't like hold culture and tradition around it because it's like something to be scared of. And I think it has a lot to do with like religion and things that have like influenced that part of the cycle. But like, let's, pull that apart and like return to these practices that help us have a better relationship with those very normal parts of the process.
Yeah. So, something that's coming up as we're talking of this is thinking about our Soultry Mama's garden and how when we have an abundance, how we share the abundance. And like that's a part of our, we have a lot of extra. Go give it to this person. Go give it to that person.
We'll bring it to Soultry events.
Bring it to Soultry events. We used to bring lemons. We used to bring a hella lemons.
Cart.
And say, take a lemon. Take a seat, take a lemon. But how, like, again, how that community care of like when you have an abundance, you share it, not hoard it, and so that's also a part of like something that I am reflecting on. Like we're all abundant in something, not everything, but there's one thing that if there's something that we're abundant in, it feels, I feel I feel a natural calling to give where I'm abundant. And then also, like you were talking about earlier, Alyssa, like where we feel like we need care, how can we normalize asking for that support? That's the part where I have trouble. I'm like, I'm abundant here, but how do I complete that system of also receiving? That's like, and that's like, that's something that I really want to reclaim in this, like during this festival. I want to really reflect on how to be a receiver of the abundance of others versus always asking myself to give.
Yes, that's something that I've been working through in the last year of like being more like open and transparent with folks when I don't got it, when I'm not abundant. And then yeah, like you said, it was like receiving that, and that takes a different, another level of tapping into self in a different way. And I also feel like what's coming up for me with this conversation is also like with community building and communal care, how like just us being together again has also been an ancestral practice of healing. And like
Oh
we
my
don't even
gosh.
have to do like, yes, we can cook, we can dance, but also just being, sharing space is healing. And I think that's what people really do experience at the festival specifically, because it's like a very intentional container that like I think the folks who are coming, you know, even if they've never known, there's people who just find it through Facebook or somehow on the internet, and they don't know anyone, and they come and they're like, wow, this is what I needed. And that's just so special to us, because again, this is like our baby that we cultivate for like a whole year. We're planning, so it's so special to have people like you all come in as guest artists to share your artistry with our community. But also for the people watching who are interested in coming or already got your ticket, like it is just a beautiful space of like literally you don't have to do anything, just being there is just healing.
Oh, that's so special. And also, like, recently I've been relearning what compassion is. And what I've found that works for me as a definition is like the ability to hold space for whatever shows up. Like, you know, just like that steadiness. And I think that when we get together, that just happens. Like the space holding happens. Like togetherness and togetherness and understanding that, you know, like some people can hold more space than others is, and like that's how community works, right? Like that, like if I'm not 100%, someone else is going to be, and then on my good day, you know, whatever, and that we can kind of come together, and we exist as wholeness, like as whole, because of all of us being parts and like contributing different amounts at different points of time.
It's making me think of Deepa Iyer's social change ecosystem.
Yes. Yes, I literally took a screenshot of one of my past posts too to bring that up today. So we are synchronous. There's a lot of synergy and synchronicity there. But yeah, we all have different roles. So if y'all are watching and aren't aware, but there's different roles. I can pull it up so I can name them.
Yeah. So as you pull that up, it's going to let people know that we have a few more minutes left. And so if you have any questions for us or the guest artists, you can leave it in the chat. If you're watching the replay, you can leave it there and we can definitely have them answer them for you on a later time.
Yes. So with the social change ecosystem, some of the roles include weavers, experimenters, frontline responders, visionaries, builders, caregivers, disruptors, healers, storytellers, and guides. So of course it's not exhaustive, but that has helped us as Soultry in our community. We've shared this ecosystem and done different workshops to talk through that and hold space for those things. But for me, it's like a guiding light, like a reminder of like sometimes when life is lifing and you feel like you need to wear all of the roles, all of the hats at once, it's a reminder that like, oh, I can show up in this way if I'm more abundant, or to even lean on other people, right? Like, oh, I really need a builder to do this thing because I don't build things, right? So yeah, that's definitely a part of this communal care and communal building.
And that's what you've done with this festival too. Like you've called in people with different skills and talents, and offerings to make something that feels whole. I mean, you have offerings from all of the like different points in, right? Um, and I just want to shout you guys out that like that organizing is really hard, and finding the right people to come together to create something that feels whole, and that there's every type of liberation worker in the room.
Definitely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Um, I wanted to share. I'm gonna butcher this quote, but I'm like, I was just listening to a podcast with the guest Celine Saman, who runs Slow Factory on Instagram, and they talked about how because Rose, you were talking about policy and changing policy to create more green spaces, and how she says in order to create change and like change policy, we got to start with culture. And so part of the job of artists and organizers and is to create the culture that will inform the policy, and the policy, that's how change is made. So we are a part of that. We might not be policymakers, we might not be officials working in city council, but as we use our creative communal care to reshape, like to shape culture, I have hope that we can do that work in that way. And I really appreciated like Celine Simon saying that, like that's what their job is to shape culture through digital design and virtual education. So Slow Factory is a Instagram that shares a lot of like education on like climate justice, environmentalism, activism. And so I just wanted to share that we are part of that ecosystem too, about centering a new type of culture, or like reclaiming the culture that already exists before these other systems. And she also said that like you we as she was talking about systems and change, and she's saying that you only are aware of the system when it's working against you. If it's working for you, you don't. It's invisible.
That's like me doing public health work. No one
It's
ever
like
applauds us when
no
no
one
one gets sick.
notices that they can't get fresh food unless they're living in a food desert, right? So, or vice versa, like all these different points of not having access. So I just wanted to name that too, that we are part of like this. Even though we're talking about being on the ground, there's also people doing work on the interweb. So it's all a part of us practicing communal care and liberation. But I wanted to give y'all both some space to share anything, closing statements. Do you have anything happening coming up? I think if you want to talk about Disco Right's upcoming Queer Movement Fest, Alyssa, I want to give you space to talk about that. Rose, if you have some events happening at Community Roots Farm, I'd like to give you space to shout out your orgs and things for people to come out and support.
Awesome. Yeah. So we're producing the third year of Queer Movement Fest, which is a week of all free performances, workshops, discussions. This year we have some like cross-border collaborations with some friends in TJ. Everything is free, and everything is by and for queer folk. Of course, everyone's invited, but the idea is that we get to uplift and produce queer art, which is in itself really magical. And these artists, oh my gosh, it's going to be some good stuff. So yeah, discoriot.org. We're also Disco Riot on Instagram, pretty easy to find there. And as far as personal things go, all I've got is this. So come to the festival. Come through, y'all.
Yeah, you'll be able to see the installation. So Friday would be the opening night, obviously, but Alyssa Rose will be there to share more about the art. Y'all be able to take pictures with it. It's gonna be awesome. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. And Rose, do you want to share?
Sure. Yeah, we're gonna have a summer solstice gathering here at the farm on the Sunday, the last day of the festival. So I'm not stealing anybody,
Oh
but
no, it's fine.
No, never.
yeah, we're gonna have a bonfire. There'll be some food. I'm gonna cook some food and some music. It'll be low key, but yeah, there's room for everybody. And then, yeah, you can visit communityrootsfarm.org to sign up for volunteerships. We have 4 a week: Tuesdays 3 to 5, Wednesdays 10 to 2:30, Thursdays 9 to 12, and then Sundays 11 to 2. So all those hours we're open for people to come and be in the space and get their hands in the soil. And yeah, we'd love to have everyone come and visit.
Yes, we shared all y'all's information in the chat. So definitely, folks, check out their work, everything that's going on. We love to see it. And we hope to see you all at the festival. Again, these are two of our amazing guest artists. You'll be able to meet them on Friday of the Summer Solstice Arts and Wellness Festival. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy, busy day to spend an hour hanging out with us, the Soultry sisters. Much love, much love. And we will continue our interview series next week. We're going to have two other guest artists, so make sure to stay tuned. That will be, I believe, our last interview or hangout of this series. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll see you next week.
Yes, bye.